Welcome back to Trans Guy Reacts. This is Nick, and I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional. And today I'm going to talk about this WNBA game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. It was Saturday, June 1st game, pegged to be the rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, which whatever, I guess. That's what they're trying to sell. But big game to put it on ESPN, even though it was early mornings, 10 a.m. game or like 9 a.m. game. I'm not sure, depending on your time zone. It was at Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indiana, and it was a sellout. So good for the Fever. On the call was Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Rucco, who, for me, I'm just like so bored of them, so tired of them. But if they're there, they're always there. But Holly Rowe was not there, which I appreciate. They had Angel Gray on the call on the floor. In the beginning of this game, it was a pretty fast game, very hectic, seemed a little desperate on both sides to make a point. But they were playing hard. There was this animation breakdown at one point between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. It was like these little animated things that Angel Gray was like talking over, and they were pointing out some statistics or something. I don't know. It looked really juvenile. I thought it was dumb, but those are the graphics we had. In this game, I was actually surprised to see that Indiana was playing defense. Shocking, but they're getting it together. I think they might have had a practice actually, because they haven't been able to practice this entire season. So, because their schedule's been kind of crazy back to back. So, playing defense, good for them. And it was great to see Camila Cardoso in the game. First time since she injured her shoulder in the preseason game she was in. And it's also just nice to see two Gamecocks on the floor with Camila Cardoso and Aaliyah Boston. Also back is Isabel Harrison. She was injured, and now she's looking good. She looks healthy. She was on the floor playing a little bit. There were some funny moments, I feel, between Marina Mabry and Caitlin Clark. There's this really great block that she had, and then Clark airballs it. She had a really interesting game of like flops, lots of falling to the ground, being very over exaggerating when she got hit with anything, because she doesn't have any muscles apparently and can't take any defense. So that was pretty funny to me. In the first quarter, there was that last possession for the Fever was absolutely horrible, and it ended with a shot clock violation. And all I can say is that they're young and inexperienced. At the end of the first quarter, it was 14-17, but the Fever were up, and I was like, all right, well, it looks like Fever has a little bit of an advantage. The crowd is loud. Maybe that'll do something for them. There was a point where Ryan Rucco and Rebecca Lobo were trying to talk to Teresa Witherspoon of Chicago Sky while she was coaching, which was hilarious because Teaspoon is a very intense coach, and she was yelling as she does always, and she could barely hear them. And then there was all these technical difficulties, and it was just kind of silly and funny, and she was just literally just yelling while they were trying to talk to her. When they talked to Christy Sides was very calm. She was really calm and quiet while she was talking to them, not that intensely into the game, but funny to see the different personalities on the floor for coaches. I thought it was interesting that Caitlin Clark was on the floor the entire first half of the game, and actually she played most of the game, which I think is a detriment to her game, but she was on the floor a lot. Although you would see Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese for the Chicago Sky getting breaks and sitting down and resting, Clark was on the floor the entire time. I don't get that. That's a coach's decision. At the half, it was 33-35. Fever still up. And I was like, oh, looks like Fever could do this. But, basketball's a game of runs. We'll see what happens. At the half, Melissa Smith had 11.6 rebounds. Clark had 8 points, 2 turnovers already. And Kelsey Mitchell had 7 points. For Chicago, Dana Evans had 8 points. Camila Cardoso had 6 points and 4 rebounds at the half. And Kennedy Carter had 6 points. LaChana Robinson and Carolyn Peck did the halftime show, but they really didn't give them any minutes. They talked for like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then it went to commercials, and it was mostly commercials. So I don't really understand why there was a halftime show, but there was. They did. I love that Carolyn Peck did point out like that. Christy Sides was talking about the need to develop Clark, and how like the chemistry is basically better when Mitchell and Melissa Smith and Boston are on the floor, and like she has to like coach her up because she's a rookie and she makes a lot of mistakes, and they're trying to make this offense around her, but she doesn't know what she's doing most of the time. So I thought that was pretty funny. it seemed to me in the game that Alyssa Smith was, especially in the beginning of the game, was the one that was actually making anything happen for the Fever. But on both teams were pretty even in terms of offense. And then I thought Christy Wallace for the Fever was showing up. She was showing out. She was hitting a lot of her shots. She had a great field point percentage. And even Boston was playing really well and going for offensive rebounds and not giving up the ball on the play and stuff. So that was great. There was a point, though, where Kennedy Carter shoulder checked Caitlin Clark unnecessarily, and Clark fell to the ground or something, and I thought it was kind of funny, but Kennedy got a foul for that. They wanted to review it, but it was nothing really. Clark is just kind of weak, and she falls to the ground a lot. So Clark hits her free throw. By the end of the third, it's 49-54. Fever still in control, and I'm like, okay, looks like Fever is probably going to win this game at this point. At the end of the third, they go to talk to Clark for some reason. I don't know why. She's not the leading scorer. She's not really making much happen. She's passing the ball a little bit, but she's not the most impactful person on the floor. But I guess they wanted to get her take on that foul, and she said that it wasn't a basketball play, but you just have to play through it. I'm like, girl, you're weak, but okay. Her fans will eat that up, so that's nice. I did see that Teresa Witherspoon was talking to Kennedy Carter on the sideline. Carter looked very upset, but to be honest, I mean, that's not surprising coming from Carter. She has a temper. We saw that at Atlanta. I saw that when she was at Texas A&M. Girl has some anger issues. It's fine. She's working through it. At this point, I'm like, we're going in the fourth quarter. I'm like, yeah, I think Fever might win this game. They're clicking better offensively. They're actually playing defense. Fever they're making some really beautiful plays. Actually, it looked good. Although I got a little worried because Boston picks up her fifth foul with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the fourth. There was another foul. There was another point where it wasn't a foul, but Angel Reese barely touched Clark. She just pushed her off to make space, and Clark fell to the ground very dramatically. She is a key flopper. I've seen her flop in a couple other games, but it's just like, girl, you're a little weak. You can't handle a little bit of a push off. Like, she gotta get in the weight room in this off season and come back with at least 10, 15 more pounds of lean muscle, because girl is flop city. But the Sky did not back down, and they were playing really well at the end. It looked like they were about to make a comeback, although Erica Wheeler does make a dumb foul on Evans with 25 seconds left. It's 69-71. Nalissa Smith goes on to foul Marina Mabry with 6.6 seconds left, which is kind of dumb. But luckily for them, Marina Mabry misses one of two free throws. It's 70-71, and the Fever end up winning by 1 point. So that was their first home win, so good for them. Now they are 2-8, and I believe the Chicago Sky are 3-4. So for the box score for this, Marina Mabry had 15 points, 9 rebounds, almost a double-double. Dana Evans had 12 points. Kennedy Carter had 19.6 assists. Camila Cardoso had 11.6 rebounds. This is her first game, by the way. 11.6 rebounds. Amazing. Angel Reese had 8 points, but she did have 13 rebounds. Diamond DeShields is injured, and Kaiser and Brianna Turner did not play due to coaching decisions. I would say, honestly, though, Angel and Marina Mabry didn't shoot the ball that well this game, and that probably was what hurt them. Even though Marina Mabry almost had a double-double, her field goal percentage was pretty low, and so was Angel's. But Camila Cardoso had a great impact. I mean, she was shooting 71% from the field goal line, so she did great. For the Fever, we had Christy Wallace with 10 points. Melissa Smith had 17 points, 9 rebounds, almost a double-double. Aaliyah Boston had 10 points, 8 rebounds, pretty close to a double-double. Kelsey Mitchell had 18 points. She was shooting kind of bad from a field goal percentage, only 37%, and had a better plus minus on the field. Caitlin Clark had 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 turnovers. As she does. She was -2 on the plus minus. She was 4 from 11 for the field goal line and 2 from 9 from 3, 36% shooting. I'm like, she's not a star player. She is just average. And the star players for this team are the ones that actually have chemistry together, which are Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, and Melissa Smith. But we keep focusing on Clark because she brought the eyeballs, I guess. I would say the Fever were definitely chucking up a lot of shots and making some poor decisions, mainly from Clark, and then the team would clean that up. But yeah, that's where we're at with this. I mean, they did win, but mind you, they won by 1 point, so it wasn't a very definitive win. Timmy Fagbinley is injured, so she's out. Lexi Hall, Victoria Saxton, and Celeste Taylor were out because the coach did not want to play them. Yeah, so that was the game. Good for Fever finally winning their second game and at home. So that's really good for their fans. And it had a lot of celebrities in attendance, so really great for basketball. We'll see what happens in the rest of the coming season. Hopefully, the Fever can actually get some rest and practice so they can continue to play well. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. And that is my breakdown for the game. And I will see y'all in the next one. If you like this kind of coverage, please like, share, and subscribe. I do not have my comment section on because I don't care what you think about me.